Okay, two funnies for you to start. One of Noah's sons walks into a kosher deli and orders a sandwich. "Sorry," said the owner, "we don't serve ham here." And, what do you call kosher Mexican food? Of course, holy mole.
So like a curious traveler on a quest, we embark upon a journey of information. Stay with us for a ride into knowledge. So, a sub asked us to look into kosher tax. Well, there's really no such thing. But kosher tax was a form of taxation that was historically real in places like Russia. It was known as the box tax. It was a burdensome tax imposed specifically on Jews for kosher slaughter and meat sales. In some modern European Jewish communities, a fee for kosher supervision of meat did effectively function as a tax to further fund local Jewish education, but it did increase prices for all. Actually, the only way this costs a non-Jew is if you shop and buy kosher. But that's mostly unavoidable. So, is this so-called tax just another way to get more out of the goy? Some claim food companies and consumers are being extorted to pay a hidden tax or an added cost. The theory alleges that the fees companies pay for kosher certification are a secret tax collected from unsuspecting consumers. It claims this Jewish tax is used to fund Zionist causes for the State of Israel. It also suggests that companies are strong-armed into paying the fee to avoid boycott. Many Jews adhere to religious dietary restrictions that govern the slaughter of animals and the ingredients and production of various foodstuffs. To assist them, these products are usually marked with a symbol attesting to the fact that they are kosher, such as a K or a U with the circle around it. You can see them for yourself on your favorite brands. The kosher tax conspiracy theory states that this kosher certification of products is an extra tax collected from unwilling consumers for the benefit of Jewish organizations. And we certainly buy these kosher products whether or not we care about such dietary restrictions or not. Some criticism comes from non-Jews, some from Jews who don't really keep kosher, and it may or may not be motivated by anti-Semitism. In some European countries, kosher slaughter is banned or restricted by law, often because nationalist or animal rights activists object to the practice. Now, in classical Reform Judaism, the keeping of kosher has been discouraged as an unhelpful vestige of the past. And in the Soviet Union, the keeping of kosher was discouraged by anti-religious and policies of the Soviet government and the anti-religious views of secular Jewish communists. But again, we buy these kosher products. All institutions that cater to Jews are more expensive than their non-Jewish counterparts, if they exist at all. So what constitutes kosher? Simply put, for a food to be kosher, it must comply with Jewish dietary laws. The core rules focus on three main areas.
Permitted animals. Only certain types of mammals, birds, and fish are kosher. For instance, land mammals must both have split hooves and chew their cud, which means cows are kosher, but pigs are not. Fish must have fins and scales. Therefore, shrimp, crab, and other shellfish are forbidden. Separation of meat and dairy. Meat and dairy products must never be cooked or eaten together. This includes using separate cooking utensils, pots, and plates for each type of food. Many observant Jews also wait a period of time between eating meat and dairy. Proper preparation. Kosher meat must be slaughtered in a specific, humane manner by a trained individual. All blood must be drained from the meat before it is cooked, as the consumption of blood is forbidden. Processed foods, wine, and grape juice must also have special rabbinical supervision to ensure all ingredients and equipment are kosher.
Kosher translates as fit or proper. And in general, all commercially prepared foods must be prepared by or under the supervision of Orthodox Jews. In the case of milk, supervision by the federal government, USDA, is considered sufficient for most Orthodox Jewish communities because government certification requires human supervision from milking to bottling. But you can often see kosher certification on the labels of these packages. Even wine must be certified as kosher because of its use in religious ceremonies, such as weddings and Passover, which means it must be made and bottled only by observant Jews. Now here's a horrifying example of the law. It is against Jewish dietary law to eat butter on steak because Jewish law prohibits mixing meat and dairy products. Now this is based on a commandment in the Torah that forbids boiling a kid, as a baby goat, in its mother's milk. And the prohibition extends to preparing, cooking, and eating meat and dairy products together. This means keeping meat and dairy products separate in terms of preparation, cooking, and consumption. Not only can't you serve or consume them together, but as was just pointed out, you must have entirely separate pots, pans, dishes, and cutlery for meat and dairy. And you clean them with separate sponges and wipe them dry with separate towels. You need to have 2 sinks, 2 ovens, 2 dishwashers, and ideally 2 kitchens. A kosher restaurant serves either meat or dairy, but not both. You're supposed to wait up to 6 hours after eating one before eating the other, so they're not in your stomach at the same time. Hence, no yogurt sauce on your shish kebab, no cheese on your tacos, your enchiladas, or your pizza. That is, unless they are vegetarian. Don't forget no cheeseburgers, no French onion soup, unless made with vegetable stock. No chicken a la king or cordon bleu, and on and on and on. No wonder they think we owe them something. I'd be angry too. But let's get back to the so-called kosher tax. They say passing the cost of a small minority's dietary practice to the majority who don't care about kosher tax is unfair. In the U.S. supermarket, nearly every can, box, or package has been kosher inspected. It's not necessarily a buy something else circumstance. And according to the Times of Israel, it's a $12.5 billion industry in the U.S. It also affects about 60% of goods sold in U.S. supermarkets. That's to service only several 100,000 strictly kosher people. People ask why there's an anti-Jewishness. Consider how few people keep kosher in the U.S. Jews make up less than 2% of the American population, and only a portion of them follow Jewish dietary laws. But more than half of the country's new packaged foods and beverage products are labeled as being kosher. And many call this a racket.
Just more food for thought.
Thanks for watching this and all our videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until we meet again, stay curious, fellow travelers, and have a great day.